Hi there, my name is Stephanie and welcome to my channel. This video is going to be the basics of quantum reality. I started doing some Zoom chats and figured I may as well do videos with what I'm doing and teaching there. So this was a few weeks ago, and again, this is the basics of the quantum version of reality. What I mean by quantum is the who we are and what we are capable of at the very smallest measurement of this reality. The majority have been programmed to live in a reality that says life happens to you and that everything is physical and that you must focus on the 1% of this reality that you actually perceive. That's right. Most humans believe that their reality is what they see. However, you see less than 1% of what is actually going on in this reality. So what I focus on is the flip side of what the programmed version of reality doesn't want us to know. For the majority of my life, I lived in what I refer to as the programmed version. So this is what we have been programmed to believe is true. And the quantum version of reality is basically the flip side of that. What it does is it empowers humans to live from who they actually are. Again, this is the truth of who we all are at the very smallest measurement. No human exempt. This is what we are capable of, who we are, and how we interact with the world around us at the very smallest measurement of existence. So it matters not what your current beliefs are. This is who you are at the very smallest measurement of this reality. And again, this is the flip side, the stuff that they don't want you to know, the stuff that has been deleted slowly over lifetimes, slowly taking the power out of what it means to be human and what we are truly capable of. We are the creators of it all. Everything you see is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Matter, in the strictest construct of the word, does not exist. Your thoughts and your emotions are like your remote control through this video game. Your thoughts are created from what you believe to be true and what you are focusing on. The question is what do you believe to be true and why? So I encourage you to start breathing more and start to control that mind of yours, because the double slit experiment says that we create our reality and we do it with what we focus on most, with an emotional charge. So the double slit experiment is also known as the experiment that broke reality, because what it says is that the observer collapses the waveform into what we believe to be physical. Every single second of every single day, you are speaking to the quantum field, this field of energy that we all live in. It is plasma, and plasma has an electrical charge. So the electrical charge, or the emotional charge that you create with your thoughts then create emotions, energy in motion. And that energy speaks to the energy in the quantum field, and the quantum field matches your vibration. So it doesn't matter what you think, it matters what you feel. So when you're tuned in to the psychopaths, to the narcissistic gaslighting psychopaths that are dictating reality for the majority, when you are watching them, you are helping to create that reality. Okay, so this is being set up for lifetimes. They know everything that I'm telling you about. They know who we are and how we function. This is all being quite brilliantly crafted. You know, our subconscious mind is so powerful. it processes 40 million bits of information per second, stuff that you don't even know that you're being programmed with. Your conscious mind doesn't see it. Now, once you start looking for it, you'll see it everywhere. You will see the video game reality that you live in, and the level of manipulation of our consciousness is unreal. But until you comprehend the extents that have been taken to make sure that we have been programmed and living below the veil of consciousness, until you understand the extents that were taken over lifetime, then you couldn't possibly comprehend how powerful we are. These psychopaths had to manipulate everything to the level of deception that is unfathomable, just absolutely unfathomable, that if you try to explain this to somebody who has never even, they exist below the veil of consciousness, their minds are unable to come up into higher levels to even accept that there's a possibility that they've been deceived to the levels that they have. It's just impossible. Now, there are ways that we can shift them, scientifically speaking, and this is what I get into on my channel. So let's move on to the next slide. So humans create their reality. We do it with our thoughts and emotions. Now, our thoughts and emotions create a frequency that not only speaks to the quantum field outside of you, it also speaks to the trillions of cells inside of you. And they too resonate at the same frequency of the emotions that you're feeling. So the program is designed to keep the humans vibrating below the veil of consciousness, ideally in a state of stress, right? Fear, shame, all of these stressors create dis-ease in the human body when the human body vibrates at a certain frequency, between 60 and 70 megahertz. Now, again, we can get down to individual parts of the body, but typically the healthy human body vibrates between the frequencies of 62 to 70 megahertz. So once you vibrate lower, that's when dis-ease starts to set in. Again, energetic, holographic, video game reality. If you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything is energy vibrating at different frequencies. It's just your human perception that sees it and believes it as anything different. Okay, so let's go back to navigating through this video game reality. The name of the game is to evolve humanity into higher states of consciousness. Now, there's two main players in this video game reality. We have the empaths and we have the narcissists. Both are a result of childhood trauma. One, disconnected from consciousness, disconnected from love. It was too painful. As a form of survival, they disconnected and they became narcissists. That's sort of like there's different levels of narcissism. I'm not going to get into the details. I will do that in another video, the whole world of empaths and narcissists. But just to simplify for this video, the empaths, as a result of childhood trauma, became more love. They decided to change themselves in order to please everybody around them. And they are the ones who are here to change this entire reality. It is the narcissist's job, it is their intention to find the empaths and keep them living down here through manipulation and gaslighting. The empaths who loves at the extent of loving others more than themselves, they can't actually fathom that there are beings that do not feel love. That's what they are. So to comprehend that there are actually beings who manipulate and gaslight in order to keep them down here, they're basically energy suckers. They feel good when They are able to manipulate those who hold the power to change everything. So if you step back far enough, you see this video game reality. We have the dark and we have the light. Now, nothing is more powerful than an empath who comprehends that they are consciousness in a body here to change everything. And literally by living in the state of love, which is what the narcissists attempt to have you not do, literally by living in a state of love, and there are higher, you are counterbalancing 750,000 others who are living below the veil of consciousness. Again, think everything is energy vibrating at different frequencies. It's the other 99+% of this reality that you don't see. However, if you start tuning into consciousness, you will start to feel it. This is what empaths are capable of. We are able to feel other humans, other levels of consciousness. And once an empath goes supernova, I'm telling you, these narcissists, they stop coming near you. They know that you know. There will be dumb ones that don't understand that you see them, right? Because they've managed to manipulate their entire life, getting away with manipulating others, relatively under the in disguise. The covert narcissists, they are the worst. Again, I'll get into another video with that, but guaranteed, if you are an empath and you are here to change everything, you have at least one narcissist sucking off your energy. And the idea is, again, to go supernova, to fully comprehend what it means to know thyself and know thy enemy. You know, if you've read the Art of War, that is one of the greatest quotes in there, and it speaks directly to this. And it is, if you know your enemy and you know yourself, 100 battles you need not fear. Again, this is a battle of energy. Everything is energy and consciousness. This is the battle on consciousness. No problem can be solved by the same level of consciousness that created it. And we are clearly living in a time in history when it's time to try something new. As Joe Dispenza would say, we're living in a time in history when it's not enough to just know. We are living in a time in history when we must know how, right? So this is the time, the real revolution is the evolution of consciousness. Okay, so I want to stick to the script because I always find that I can get off track really quickly because there's just so much. But really, you want to know how powerful you are. This is the stuff that they don't want you to know. You create it all. It's the humans who hold the power. The most powerful ones are the ones who know that they are consciousness having a human experience. You know, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only change states. We are consciousness here having a physical experience. We will all wake up. We will all go back to consciousness. But the point is to wake up in the dream while you still have time to influence it intentionally, instead of waiting until your time here is done. So your thoughts and emotions influence your biology, right? You have the ability to heal yourself. I speak a lot about heart-brain coherence. I became a HeartMath coach years ago, and it is quite literally the one tool that every single human should have. It is the tool that helps you to turn off your programmed mind and tune into consciousness, to deliberately influence energy, right? To deliberately bring yourself back to the present moment, because that is where your power is always at. It's learning to control your mind. This is how you're going to be resilient through what's to come. This is how you deliberately influence your reality. This is how you heal yourself, how you help heal others, and ultimately how you shift the entire quantum field in our favor. As a man thinketh, so he becomes. I'm not going to get into all of the science, and I'll do individual videos. So this is Dr. Emoto. But I want to keep these videos relatively short because, as we all know, social media has programmed us to have very short attention spans. So let's go on to the next one. Your mind is just like a computer. Again, this goes back to a video game. Your thoughts create everything you see. All of us have been programmed. Our main bulk programming happens during the first 7 years of life. And the program knows this. This is why they step in and start programming, the moment we're born. So during the first 7 years of life, our mind is in a theta state. We're literally downloading the operating system that is intended to serve us for the rest of our lives. Now, the problem is that we have been programmed by people who didn't realize that they were programming us, right? So those who are waking up during their lifetime and realizing this, they have to go back and delete the programs that were installed. We are just like computers. Those limiting beliefs that you have about yourself, you can uninstall them. It's I do Psych-K. It's energy psychology. So basically using kinesiology to communicate with your subconscious programmed mind in order to see what you believe to be true. And then during a session, changing that belief, and then using kinesiology again to see if that belief has been changed. And then, of course, action would follow after a session. But your mind is like a computer, and think of it as like the motherboard of this reality. You have beliefs that are in there. They're like viruses that were installed by manipulating our beliefs through years and years of programming. This didn't just start. These psychopaths had to do this over an extended amount of time in order to get us to where we are now. But the problem is that this shift in consciousness happened back in the 80s, and there's no stopping it. Remember, everything is energy. They are trying to stop it. They are trying to prevent as many of us from waking up as possible, but this is impossible. So let's move on. We've got the conscious versus subconscious mind. They know how our minds work. Now it's time for the humans to know how they work. For the majority of the population, prior to this recent reset, March 2020, statistically speaking, and I hope this offers some clarity to everybody, to all the warriors out there, banging their heads, trying to comprehend how people aren't seeing what's going on. They are literally programmed, and they don't know that they're programmed. They have no idea that they are running on autopilot. So statistically speaking, 90% of the population lives from their subconscious programmed mind, 95 to 99% of the time. Your subconscious mind is a record of everything that you've ever experienced. It's a record of everything you've seen, ever heard. Now, it processes 40 million bits of information per second. So when you are watching Hollywood, you are literally being programmed with things that you're not even consciously aware of. 40 million bits of information per second your subconscious program processes, whereas your conscious mind, when you're living present in the moment, it processes 40 bits of information per second. 40 million versus 40. You can comprehend, just given those numbers, how much more powerful your subconscious mind is. So it is what's running the show the majority of the time. And again, it can't think new thoughts. When you're operating from your subconscious programmed mind, it's the busy mind that won't shut up. Just take a second and listen to it. It's that busy mind and it just keeps telling the same thing over and over and over and over again. Humans think between 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and 95 to 99% of those thoughts are the same thoughts day in and day out, creating the exact same reality. The purpose of this video game we live in is to wake up and realize that you're playing it, to take your mind back and to start thinking more consciously, to bring yourself back to the present moment and deliberately think your thoughts, intentionally creating a frequency that the field of energy you live in is then going to mirror back to you. This is quantum reality, no human exempt. So we were all programmed by a program that is now hijacked the minds of the masses to create exactly what they want to see, right? And when there's many of us focused on the same thing at the same time, creating the same frequencies, that energy is intensified. This is why we have the 5 o'clock news, the 6 o'clock news, to get us all magnifying those same below the veil of consciousness frequency energies. That is when we are giving our power away. When we are standing in our power, we feel good. And this is exactly what the psychopathic narcissists don't want to happen. They don't want us to feel good. Why? Because when we feel good, we send that energy into the field. Scientifically speaking, you cannot even comprehend the difference between the frequency of love and fear. Literally, a loving thought is 10 to the minus 35 million microwatts. A fearful thought is 10 to the negative 750 million microwatts. It is so enormous as to be beyond the capacity of the human imagination to even comprehend. This is the power of the empaths. You are literally here to change everything. It's just a matter of deleting the programming that was intentionally installed to keep you from changing the quantum field into higher states of consciousness. So the purpose of this video game is to start thinking your thoughts on purpose, calling your power back across all time, space, and dimensions, and starting to use that power to intentionally influence the quantum field. And again, you see less than 1% of what's actually going on. Your visualization also adds to the magnification of your manifestations, your intended manifestation, right? We came here with so many superpowers. It's just a matter of tuning back into consciousness and using them deliberately. You have the ability to tune yourself into whatever information that you need to know to take you to the next place that you want to go. You just need to learn to quiet the subconscious program mind and tune back into the frequency where you can download that specific information. Now, this could happen immediately, it could happen right away, or it could take 72 hours. But you have to quiet the mind and you have to start to look around you, start to see, the quantum field responding to you. You are in an ongoing relationship, non-stop, 24/7 with the universe. This work is about speaking and hearing deliberately, and it's all energy, right? Empaths can feel it. It's just a matter of fine-tuning it, right? And the more you do, the more there is to fine-tune. You never get to a point where you know it all. You never get to a point where this game ends. This is the constant evolution of self. The more you know, the more you grow, the more you're like blown away with this video game that we live in. So this is how it works. Heart-brain coherence. It's basically your thoughts and emotions on a screen. I show the empaths how powerful their thoughts and emotions are, and you can see it on a screen, right? So once you can see it, you know that you're in the correct frequency, in the correct state the more you come to this state, the more you'll start to see. The easier it'll be to control your mind. This is when you become coherent with the field that you live in, but as well, you're creating coherence within the trillions of cells in your body. When you resonate in these higher frequencies, those cells in your body respond to you. They listen to you. They reflect your emotional frequency. This is why it's so important to stay or to become more mindful of your thoughts. When you understand how powerful they are, how powerful your emotions are, you stop allowing the outside world to influence what's going on in your inside world. This is what it's meant by becoming a master of this reality. It's mastering your thoughts that master your frequency, and then you start to see, right? This isn't something where you can take somebody's opinion of. This is something that you want to experience yourself, right? It's the only way you're going to know for sure is to start doing this work yourself. But this is all the stuff that you were born, that you were inherently capable of doing. You have superpowers. We all do. It's turning off the program that has convinced us otherwise. So once one of us is in coherence, just like the program programs the humans to live in lower frequencies with the news, what we need to do is to vibrate at higher frequencies together, to come together to set intentions, right? So when you have many people vibrating at higher frequencies, we literally influence the quantum field and counterbalance massively those who are living below the field. So in the 80s, it was 15% of the population that took the 85% above the veil of consciousness into courage. So we went from living in falsehood, in ego, and in pride to opening our eyes and being able to consider that perhaps we are here to do more. And that's courage, the courage to look, the courage to be able to think critically, and definitely, the courage to expand your perception and step into who you're here to be. When you live in a state of coherence, you tune into your intuition. Your intuition is previously unknown information, seemingly out of nowhere. So this is you downloading what it is that you need to do, what is your purpose, Yeah, it's like your magic power. And when more people do this, we shift the quantum fields. So again, it was the 80s when we shifted over above the veil of consciousness. And what we're seeing now is just a result of that shift. So those who see the narcissistic psychopaths, we can help to speed up this field. We can help to speed up the shift or speed the consciousness shifting through the field. This is how we wake others up. And there is even science about that. When one person is in a state of coherence, they can shift those around them into coherence. The coherence is the answer. It creates social and global coherence. This is the quantum version of this reality. I always say we already have the answers. Now we just need more humans to tune into them. Okay, so I don't know how long this video is. Hopefully it falls within a short enough time limit that people click on it. If you resonate with this information, please like and subscribe and share it. I have been at the bottom of the list on Facebook for a minimum of, they say a minimum of 90 days. That date seems to keep getting bumped, so I am at the bottom of the notifications. So if you would like to be the first to be notified of more videos to come, which full steam ahead, let's do this. Giddy up, click and subscribe, and that is all for now. Cheers, everybody.